Good morning, students.
Good
Am I
morning,
audible?
ma'am.
Good
Yes,
morning, ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. So I guess few students are still joining, but we can start the lecture, right? So yesterday we discussed about viruses. Quickly, maybe for 5 minutes or more than that, maybe 7 to 8 minutes. We'll revise for that. Actually, it was a journal introduction. Today also is a journal lecture about the introduction and the history of viruses, especially plant viruses history we'll discuss today. And in next lecture, we'll discuss about the human viruses history and human viruses majorly. What are the generally major human viruses? And if we talk about the genome and genome, DNA, and RNA, they are similar in both human and plant viruses. There is no difference. So that part will take up later, right? So today, am I audible properly? Is I hope there is not problem like yesterday.
Ma'am, your voice is a little bit breaking.
It's breaking again.
Yes, ma'am.
Just a minute. Yes. Am I audible? No.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Fine.
ma'am.
I hope it's fine. So yesterday we discussed about, in general, about disease. What is disease? What are what is a disease triangle? What are different component of a disease triangle? And how these component of a disease triangle should be. I mean, what should be their alignment for the disease to take place, right? So that was we discussed about the virus, we discussed about the symptoms, we discussed the general normal, like what is their genome or DNA, or which was this is general overview of the viruses, right? So my first question is from the last lecture is, please switch on your cameras when you'll answer the question. What is disease? How do you define disease? Yes, Ishita Arora, what is disease? Quickly. There should not be any gap or time. No, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Devanshi,
Ma'am,
what is disease?
disease.
Yes,
Basically,
yes, Ishita, I can't hear you.
ma'am, am I audible now?
Yeah, you're audible now.
Ma'am, disease is basically a dysfunction of our body when any part of our body is not working due to any pathogenic effect on it. Or maybe or it can also be like any pathogen after any pathogenic effect. Our whole body is not working properly, and any kind of weakness or any kind of disorder we are feeling in this.
Okay, fine, Ishita. Okay, as a human, we can tell that we have a disease, we have some changes in our body, some symptoms. How do plants how do we know from plants that they are having some kind of a disease? Yes, Yuvraj. Please unmute yourself.
Ma'am, can you please repeat?
Yeah, I'm just telling that as a humans, we can tell that we are not feeling well, and then we'll go to the doctor, and doctor will tell that yes, this is the problem. What about plants? How they are not going to tell us that we are having some problem or something. So how do we identify that they have some kind of a disease? No? Yes, Manaswini.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, Manaswini. You're
Okay. So, ma'am, like you said, my camera is just switching on. So, like you had mentioned, the plant can't tell us that it's unwell. So, there are always certain signs that you can see in different parts of the plant, which will kind of indicate that it might not be in its best working condition, and it might be affected. So there can be rotting, there can be curling of the leaf, there can be yellowing of the leaf. So it's based on the disease, but different diseases manifest in the plants in different ways. So you have to properly monitor it to make sure that it's in its best state, and that's how you can find out if there's a disease or not.
Yes, yes, good, Manaswini. So basically, on the basis of the symptoms that are showing on the plants, we can identify that there is some problem, and then to properly identify that problem, whether it is due to the fungus or we need to find kind of a diagnosis. So basically, the first thing that we see or that we can check is the symptoms on the plant, which can tell us that there is something that they are not well. There is some problem with the plants, right? So quickly, I'll go to now Devanshi. Devanshi, can you tell me what is disease triangle? We discussed it yesterday. Quickly, Devanshi.
Ma'am, am I audible now?
Yes, Yuvraj.
Ma'am,
Yes,
am I
Devanshi, you're
audible?
Yes,
audible.
ma'am.
Go on. Let Devanshi say Yuvraj first. Yes, Devanshi, you are
Okay,
audible.
okay.
Ma'am, basically the disease triangle is between the host, environment, pathogen, how they travel from the environment, how they live there, and then they come to the body of the host. This is the just in brief I know about the disease triangle.
Okay, fine.
It
Yes,
is a
Yuvraj.
model.
Yeah,
Ma'am,
Yuvraj, add on.
ma'am, on the host, there are various things like age, race, sex, and material status, as well as its genetical history. While in the environment, we see the water, food, and as well as humidity, temperature, and radiation, environmental pollutions. And on the other side, the agent consists biological, physical, and chemical agents like poison, alcohol, and fire, radiation, etc.
Yes, fine. Okay, Yuvraj.
But
Yes,
ma'am,
Shakti, can you just tell me?
I just wanted to ask one thing,
Yes.
ma'am. In the host, how it's related with the religion?
Host, how is host?
Yeah, how it's related with the religion?
Religion, see, I don't know, religion should not be here as the term, but sometimes it happens that patterns of a particular disease may occur in a particular communities. See, we cannot say that directly it is related, but there are some people in the society, like in society also, that don't prefer to go for a vaccination, right? So those kind of a diseases which can be prevented by the vaccinations will be, those people will they have a more chances that they'll get affected by those kind of a diseases where they are not being vaccinated. So this is how it is related, and it is, I mean, I'll not take, there are many Hindus, there are many other religions also where people
Ma'am, your
they don't
voice
prefer
is
to, due to
breaking.
the reason that, okay, I don't know, the network is here, so I know I'm in basement, but still, okay, let me switch off the video, maybe it will improve. Is it fine now?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah, so Yuvraj, the thing is, because the various peoples in a various communities, they don't prefer to get vaccinated. It, like they say that it is in their religion, they cannot take some outside pathogen to their body. So those people, those particular group of people are more prone to those diseases. So this is how a religion or particular communities is related in the disease triangle, or we can say they are more, they can be more affected by a particular disease, not other people. That's all, not other than this, right?
But ma'am, looking to the latest scenarios, there are many diseases, right? So from birth to the death, so and all over the ages from birth, so there it is very necessary to take right the pathogens from the birth. I think
They're very right to take.
the medicine from the birth, right from the birth, ma'am. So ma'am, I don't think any religion would do like this.
No. It happens. See, Yuvraj, we cannot vouch for any religion or community. They can be any group or any group of people belonging to any religion. So हम किसी एक religion के
Okay.
बारे में बात नहीं कर सकते हैं. No, we are not saying your particular religion. But yes, there are group of people, group of human, a good group of number of people who don't want to get vaccinated.
Okay.
Who don't want to go to the doctor for a medicine, rather they will follow some other rituals. So those kind of a people are more prone to a certain kind of a diseases than the other group of the people who are following proper practices. Vaccination is being done. So that is the only thing, nothing else.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Raj? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So, yeah, my next question is to Shakti, right? Shakti, how these different triangle components affect the disease development? Yes, Shakti, can you hear me?
Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. So, how these three different components of a triangle affect the development of a disease?
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. Shakti, are you saying something? No. Okay, this question I pass on to Sanjana. Yes, Sanjana Sharma. You will not take time to answer a question, please, huh? Sanjana?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Sanjana. Good
Ma'am,
answer.
can you please repeat the question? Your voice is
How
breaking.
how these three different components of a triangle affect the disease development? No? Yes, Rupal. I'll quickly pass on the questions to the next participant. Yes, Rupal.
Yes. Ma'am, according to me, if any of the factor of these triangle is missing, or it is like being over exploited, so then the triangle is not complete according to me, and it will not
Should be according to you, it
yes.
should be according to the disease triangle that I have explained yesterday, Rupal, right?
Yes.
So yes, yes. I mean, if any one of the component is not in line, for example, the environment is not favorable, disease will not take place. Vector is not there, disease will not take place. Host is not susceptible, disease will not take place. Pathogen is not virulent, disease will not. So these three triangle components, it should be proper alignment in the components so that a particular disease will takes place. Students, please just after the lecture, just try to, or even if even you pay very good attention while I'm teaching in the lecture, it's not very difficult. You will be able to answer the questions, right? So I'll move on to today's lecture. Today's lecture is again a general one, since we are talking about the viruses, we are still discussing about the viruses, and there are still many things that we need to discuss about the viruses, right? So virus definition, yesterday also we discussed, they are very small, their size is in up to around 300 nanometers, and they have RNA and DNA genomes, right? So that again is so a complete virus particle is known as a virion. Virion is a term which is being given to the complete virus particle, and it consists of a nucleic acid which is surrounded by a protective coat of a protein which is called capsid or a coat protein. And these coat proteins, they are found from identical protein subunits, capsomers. So when we'll study the structure of the viruses in detail, so there I will discuss about these things in detail. So some viruses, they have a lipid envelope which is derived from the host cell membrane, and the capsid is again made from proteins which is encoded by viral genome. So there are a number of proteins which are encoded by viral genome. There's a coat protein, there's a movement protein, there are other proteins, helicase proteins in some viruses. So all the proteins, they have a different role. Coat protein, I'll just tell you about coat protein. Coat protein is a very important part of the virus, and this part, coat protein, is an antigenic part of the virus. That means if we want to raise anti-sera against certain viruses, we just need the core protein of that virus. We just don't need the whole virus, because the core protein part is the anti-sera, and we can develop anti-sera against any virus. So this is how anti-sera for plant viruses are also being developed for the diagnostic purposes. We are doing this kind of a work, right? So genome, if we talk about, yesterday also I said they have RNA genome. Majority or major viruses, they have RNA as a genome. Uh, Number of examples are there. You'll study examples. I told you yesterday there are 39 different families of plant viruses. Similarly, in human viruses also there are number of families. So you'll study. RNA, just one or two example if you want to talk about RNA genome in plant. There are cucumovirus, cucumber mosaic virus, which is very common virus. There are ilar viruses, which is prunus necrotic ring spot virus. These viruses basically affect the stone fruits and acorn fruits, right? Human viruses, RNA viruses are influenza viruses, HIV viruses. Then again, the second part could be of a genome could be DNA. I told you either RNA or DNA. So DNA in a plant, there are only few families, like we have a Gemini-Viridae family and Nanoviridi, one more family, which the DNA is the genome, right? Mostly are RNA virus. And human also, human viruses, there are number of viruses, pox virus, hepatitis virus, they are DNA viruses. So RNA and DNA is the major genome component. So viruses have a genome either of RNA or of DNA, right? Then there's one more thing. When we talk about the virus genome, we also talk about that. Most of the plant viruses, they have a single stranded DNA genome. And these genome could be either positive sense, which are called plus strand, or could be negative sense, which is called minus strand. So it all depend upon the, if they are complementary to the viral messenger RNA or not. So what happens in positive sense RNA? Positive sense viral RNA is in the same sense as the viral mRNA. So thus at least a part of it can be immediately translated by the host cell. Directly आप उसको translate कर सकते हो. But in case of a negative sense viral RNA, they are complementary to the messenger RNA. So in these cases, they must be first converted to the positive sense RNA by RNA-dependent RNA polymerase before the translation takes place. So this is the difference between the positive sense and the negative sense RNA or DNA. And if we talk about the viral structures, this is again same. They have a RNA or DNA genome, or there could be an envelope. In some viruses are enveloped also, and then they have a protein core. So as I told you, a single infectious virus particle or a complete infectious viral particle is known as a virion. That is a single particle that exhibits the ability to infect the host. And then the protein core, which covers the genome or a nucleic acid, is known as a capsid. And some viruses, they have capsid which is surrounded by a lipid-like coat known as envelope. So those viruses are called as enveloped viruses. Viral shapes, if we talk about, again, there are number of shapes, and how we can see these viral shapes at what kind of, for example, I've got a sample, I'll talk about the plant virus. I've got a sample from a leaf sample which shows some mosaic, typical mosaic-like symptoms. Now, I don't want to go for ELISA or a PCR, but I want to see whether this is a virus infected or something else, or if it is a virus infected, then what kind of a virus is it? So I'll check this under an electron microscope. So under the electron microscope, we'll be able to see the viral shapes. Proper viral shapes nazar aayegi, filamentous hai, helical hai, it is isometric virus particles. What kind of a shape? So from those shapes, I'll get an indication that this virus, because when we classify the virus, when we study in detail the classification of the viruses, also their shapes are being known. For example, Gemini viruses are twin particles, circular in size. Then our ilar viruses are isometric particles. Then Poti viruses are filamentous particles. So
those shapes are known. So by identifying and checking those shapes, we can have an indication that this virus might be present in our sample. So virus also, like bacteria shows diverse shapes, viruses also shows diverse shapes. So if we talk about, then the next part is the replication. How does this replication takes place? Where does this replication takes place? So the genome replication of most DNA replication cycle and everything we are going to study in detail chapter wise, right? So this is just the basically insight into the this course, that okay, how viruses का structure कैसा है, their shape, how is their shape, how is their size, how does their genome look like, how do they replicate, right? So most of the DNA viruses, they replication takes place in the nucleus, and so if the cell has appropriate receptor on its surface, so these viruses, they enter the cell by either by the direct fusion with the cell membrane or by the receptor base mediated endocytosis. Yesterday my last slide contained one thought question, that is it possible whether human viruses can infect plants or plant viruses can infect humans? This is not possible. And why this is not possible? Because viruses identify certain kind of a receptors which are present in the host cells in humans or animals. When they recognize those receptors, then only they can go and infect that particular human. So those receptors, they will not find in the plants, right? In the plants, there is no receptor kind of a contact. So human viruses cannot affect the plants. Similarly, plant viruses, we humans are very different than the plants have a cell wall, they have a cell wall, that is why they need some kind of a wounds or some kind of a maybe a vector to puncture the cell wall and then they move inside this. So plant viruses cannot, they'll not find the similar kind of environment in the human, they'll not survive there. Yes, the studies has been done where some particles are being found. For example, daily we are consuming lot of virus infected plants or fruits or vegetables, so definitely inside us also particles are also going. So the study was done in case of a pepper, where the pepper venal mottle virus, something like, so those virus particles were found in the fecal matter of the humans, but there's no proof and there's nothing like that they are being replicating there. So particles can be found in the fecal matter because they consume the virus infected maybe peppers, and then in the fecal matter, in the waste it was out, and in those some particles were found, but otherwise this is not possible. The replication of RNA viruses usually takes place in the cytoplasm. So RNA viruses, they use their RNA replicase enzyme to create the copies of their genome. So in detail we'll study. So virus reproduction or a virus multiplication is the appropriate term that we use here. We don't use the term reproduction. So this is how this is how it takes place. So there's a cell, on the cell there's a receptor, then the virus will come, it will recognize the receptor, and then it break down the membrane, fusion will take, endocytosis or some kind of a process will take place, and it will enter the cell, right? So it will enter the cell, it will disintegrate itself, it will break down into the proteins, the smaller parts. Then viral RNA and DNA, it will go to the nucleus, cell nucleus, it will hijack normal cell function so that it can make more virus particles. So when it will make DNA, the viral enzymes package into many more viruses, they'll burst out of the cell, budding, and then they'll go and infect number of other cells also. So this is how it enter and it goes inside and it replicates and then it comes out, right? Then if we talk about the how viruses affect the host cells. So there are number of cytopathic effects on the host cell. So basically the number of structural and biochemical effects that viruses have on the host cell, these are combinedly called as a cytopathic effects. So most viruses infection, they result in the death of the host cell. So the causes of death could be due to the cell lysis, alteration of the cell surface membranes, and apoptosis. Apoptosis is basically a programmed cell death that occur in a multicellular organism. I'm talking here about the humans. It's not about the plant. In humans, this happens when this virus enters our cells, our body, right? Then vectors. Vectors are very important, especially when we talk about plant viruses. Vectors plays a very important role. Without vector, viruses cannot be transmitted. Plant viruses, right? In humans also there are vectors, arthropod vectors. For example, in dengue virus, if mosquito, we can control the mosquito breeding, we can control the infection or the cases of the dengue if proper sanitation practices are being followed, where mosquitoes their breeding grounds are destroyed. This is the major problem in Delhi every year near the monsoons. So what is government doing in this case? They are alerting people. Empty your coolers, don't leave stagnant water anywhere, put some oil or put some other solutions there so that mosquitoes do not breed and dengue virus infection can be reduced, right? So vector, if we can manage vector, we can manage the pathogen also. Similarly, in case of a plant viruses, vectors are very important. So whenever we talk about management of any plant viruses, we talk about the management of the vectors. Vectors, viruses, they are transmitted by vectors. Plant viruses, there are number of vectors. From aphids, they are whiteflies, they are nematodes, they are fungi also, which act as a vectors of the viruses. Human viruses, mosquitoes are the definitely arthroviruses. When we talk about, they're the mosquitoes are the important vectors. Otherwise, they are transmitted by the droplets, their contact, or could be airborne. We saw this in corona, that why this they are saying that do gaj ki duri, because a distance is important. If you're sneezing or if you are directly coming in contact with the particles, directly viral particles, then we can get infected. So that is why it is important, right? So epidemics and pandemics, these are the very common terms. Epidemic, what is difference between epidemic and pandemic is that epidemic is like any disease which is occurring in a particular country, in a particular place, normally, like regularly kuch disease, and okay, there are particular terms. These are endemic diseases, they are epidemic diseases, they are pandemic diseases. So endemic diseases are those diseases which are particularly common to a particular part of the country. Like India में आपने देखा है गोरखपुर में या particular region में Japanese encephalitis हर साल होता है. Every year it gets, so it is endemic to that particular region. Then epidemic is like HIV epidemic is going on since many years, right? So HIV cases are always there at a particular level. वो हो रहा है, epidemic चल रहा है, उसका अभी भी चलता है, it is going on. Pandemic diseases are those diseases when they cross the borders. That means they affect the whole world, like coronavirus. Like the swine flu was also a pandemic because it affected many countries when 2009 it took place, right? So pandemic means when the diseases are spreading to the other parts of the world. From China, Wuhan, it started coronavirus. From there, it moved to other parts of the world also, and today almost whole world is affected by the coronavirus. So those diseases are called pandemic diseases basically. And see, to manage the pandemic diseases, it is very important. World Health Organization, they play a very important role. And whenever such disease, for example, in India, there is a particular disease outbreak which is taking place, and cases are more than the normal. Zika ho या Ebola virus, so Ebola virus epidemic भी था one particular time. So if the cases are more than the normally, अगर हर साल for every year, for example, we are having 5 to 10 cases, and this year all of a sudden we are having 50 cases. So that is an alarming situation. That means this can convert into a pandemic also, and if it is a transmission rate is very high. So that means we need to alert the international health organizations that such and such pandemic has broken in our country. Please alert the other people also to stop the movement. तो सबसे पहले क्या करते हैं हम international boundaries को secure करते हैं. We close the airports, we restrict the movement of people because through infected people. How did coronavirus came to India? India में तो नहीं था ना. It came from the people who were coming from the other part of the country and who were infected. So this is how. That's why it was always called an elite class disease, because it did not came from the common people. It came from the people who were traveling abroad, and then it came. Now you all know the situation, right? So when such kind of a pandemics and such kind of a diseases happens, lot of measures are required. Lot of, if China would have informed us in back, it started in around 2019 December, much Chinese New Year around, it started there. So they would have informed us right then to the World Health Organizations, सारे लोग अवेयर हो जाते. तो उससे क्या होता है, जितनी भी गैदरिंग्स हैं या सोशल मीटिंग्स हैं या सोशल अपॉइंटमेंट्स हैं, वो रिड्यूस हो जाती है, कॉन्फ्रेंसेज एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स. सो दैट विल लिमिट or restrict the movement of a pathogen from one part of the country to the other part of the world. So these things are very important. So WHO or World Health Organization, they have particular guidelines that when to declare a particular disease epidemic and when to declare it can be epidemic, and when we need to inform them that this and this has happened and now we need to do something. So these things are very important, right? See why these things are. There's a World Trade Organization. So trade is one such thing which contribute to the economy of a particular country, that it cannot be stopped, but it can be restricted, right? And the movement between the country is very easy these days by the air movement, by the flights, and Indian people are going and working in US or other part of the world. They are coming here, and so the movement is very common these days. But these movements are very, they can be harmful if there are certain outbreaks of a pandemics or epidemic like situations. So and the transmission rate of those pathogens such as viruses is very high. So in those cases we need to be very careful, right? So Spanish flu, if we talk about the old epidemics caused by the viruses, Spanish flu in 1918, it killed 40 to 50 million, and this is still a question mark because we don't know whether this is the right figure or it is not. It could be more. It wiped off number of people from country, and situation was similar. Like we have at that time, there were no vaccines, also nothing was there. World War II was going on, and a lot of problems were there, right? So that was one major, major epidemic that time. Then we have a severe acute respiratory and Middle East. This was in 2002 around when this epidemic broke, but not much people were affected. Then if we talk about the plant epidemics, then I told you yesterday also that African cassava mosaic virus in Uganda, it causes cassava mosaic disease, and it spread through East and Central Africa by white flies. White flies are the vectors of this particular virus, and there are 40 to 50 or 60 number of biotypes or subtypes of these white flies which transmit this virus. And when it spread, it destroyed the cassava plantation, forcing farmers to abandon the crop and causing famine and famine-related deaths. So this was the staple food. People were, they were dying because of the hunger, because their staple food was destroyed. They had, how these countries are. They are the poorest of the country, which are developing at a very slow rate. So these were impacted so much by this virus epidemic, and whole crop was destroyed. Host range means that how number of what are the host of the viruses. For example, influenza viruses, they affect humans, mammals, there's a bird flu, some affects the birds. So what is the host range? Plants, how they affect plant viruses, what are the different plants as a host of various viruses. So there are number of the host also, right? So host range, we will say the viruses affect all type of cellular life, including animals, plants, bacteria, and fungi. Plants, you name any plant, it is affected by a virus, except few medicinal plant where no viruses are reported. Otherwise, viruses are everywhere. Then there are bacteriophages. Bacteria are infected by viruses. Then fungi is also affected by viruses, which are called as a microviruses. Humans, there are a number of viruses. There's a polio virus, there's a rabies virus, there's a chickenpox, there's a measles, there are HIV. Number of viruses are there. So this is called their host strains basically. That way. So coronavirus, it came here because we are facing a corona pandemic. So coronavirus, again, they are RNA viruses which usually cause diseases in the humans, mammals, or birds, and they cause a respiratory tract infections. You have witnessed this. We all have witnessed this. How people have died due to these viruses, right? The mild illness could be the common cold, so normal cold, and which is caused by other viruses also, but more lethal varieties of these viruses can cause SARS, MERS, and COVID-19. Uh, Today also we don't have any sure shot vaccination or a therapeutics against COVID-19. We are still waiting for a good vaccine. We are still, because now we have a Delta variant. There were double mutants earlier. We have a Delta variants now. So it is changing. This virus is changing, right? Spanish flu occurred for the there also there were three waves. Second wave was highest and it killed a number of people as second wave here also. And when Spanish, at the time of a Spanish flu, the third wave was mild. So this was the behavior. So we are expecting, we don't know, we are expecting that this should be the case here also, that third wave should be the mild. But we are not sure yet. So we need to take all the precaution. We still need to be very careful for this, right? So symptoms, yes. Okay, symptoms, viruses, plant. Honey, please mute yourself. Right, so humans there are flu-like symptoms. There's a fever, there's a headache, there's a cough, there are body pains. Could be the gastrointestinal disturbances such as diarrhea, nausea, and vomiting. All these symptoms are viral. Could be the general ill feeling. There could be a rash on the body, sneezy, stuffy nose, nasal congestion, runny nose. All these are the symptoms in the human. Plant symptoms, I guess I've already discussed with you. I'll discuss these again in detail in the practical. So mosaic, mottle, leaf curls, stunting, vein clearing, vein banding, necrosis, chlorosis. There are a number of viral symptoms, right? So if we talk about the diagnosis of both plant and human viruses, there are serological and molecular diagnosis. You have seen in case of corona also, they were doing serological diagnosis using ELISA antibody test, or they were doing the molecular diagnosis using real-time PCR. So we do a polymerase chain reaction, a PCR, normal PCR, or a real-time PCR. So these are in case of a plant. There are a number of blotting or hybridization techniques also which are being used for the diagnosis that can be done. If we have probes which are already available with us, we cannot find new viruses by using hybridization or these microarray or these kind of techniques. Otherwise, we can use them, right? So this is how management. I told you yesterday also, human viruses can be managed by vaccines. Vaccines are the only available management that is there. So as soon as the virus is being identified or there's an outbreak of a new virus, people start working on the development of the vaccines. And believe me, it is not very easy to develop a particular vaccine because 2-3 years it requires a lot of testing. What is the efficacy of a particular vaccine? It is being developed. What are the side effects and all those things, right? So right now the vaccines which are being used in the coronaviruses, that is the emergency used, which is being granted to the agencies. Okay, they can be used in emergency, but a particular proper vaccine for coronavirus is yet to be discovered, right? Then if we talk about plant viruses, as I told you yesterday, they cannot be managed once they are failed. So if we have an orchard of apple where virus is present already in the apple and it is causing lot of losses, or orchard of a stone fruits or maybe your citrus fruits, then, and if it is the virus has just in such a condition that nothing can be done, the only solution given to the farmer is uproot that orchard, uproot those trees, destroy those trees, and plant a new one. So that is the only solution in viruses right now. So whatever management we do in plant viruses, we do before. We use clean seeds, we use virus free planting material, we use certified seeds or a certified planting material which are being already tested by ELISA or a PCR for the presence of a particular pathogen. So that is the thumb rule. Then there are certain virus resistant varieties through transgenics, through conventional breedings are being developed. There are certain number of methods, cross protection, port protein mediated resistance, that I'll try to discuss. This is not your part of syllabus, but in the management I'll try to discuss these things with you, that what is port protein mediated resistance, what is cross protection, how this is being done. Then meristem tip culture is another method where through tissue culture we can develop virus free plants. So this is how we can do. And the next is the control of the vectors. That means we need to control the vectors in order to manage the viruses. That is very important. COVID, I'll discuss about this in the next lecture, COVID pandemic, causal organism, because this will require a lot of time and other things. Right now, I'll publish one quiz for you in your teams based on this lecture. There are 5 questions, 1-word question, not more than that. You will quickly go and do that quiz, and you'll submit that quiz, and then we'll take the attendance. So I'm going to publish that quiz, and you can start doing it. Please, all of you listen, and there's a time you'll be given only 5 minutes only to do that, right? Not more than that. So try to do quickly. I'm just, give me 1 minute, I'll publish. Is it, I've assigned, maybe there are 1 or 2 minutes. Is it visible or not? No, not yet.
No, ma'am, it's not.
Just maybe. The net is so slow, I'm not able to open it.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it?
Yes, ma'am.
Please quickly do it. Just 5. Don't Google it. You know it. Every one of you know it. Please just do it and come back. Hurry up and submit it on the Teams itself. It is very journal. It is just based on today's lecture, and I am sure you all will be able to answer, right? So don't Google for it. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. In the meanwhile, I'll take attendance also. Please switch on your cameras for attendance and quickly. Just a moment. Yes, Adish is on hold. Athoiba. Adish. Adish. Can you hear me? Athoiba. Please, all of you, switch on your cameras. Ayushi.
Present, ma'am.
Sam. Devanshi.
Present, ma'am.
Ishita. Janvi.
Present, ma'am.
Kshitij. Manaswani.
Present, ma'am.
Namrita.
Present, ma'am.
Nandini.
Present.
Nandini.
Ma'am, I was unable to unmute myself. I'm present.
Please make sure you all, when I say that I'm taking attendance, all of you unmute yourself and switch on your camera at that moment only.
Okay.
Neelam, Rupal,
Present, ma'am.
Sahiba, yes, Sahiba, Sanjana,
Present, ma'am.
yes, Sanjana, Shakti, Shivani,
Present, ma'am.
uh, Tanvi,
Present, ma'am.
Tridev,
Present, ma'am.
Ma'am, Shivani, I am also present.
Vivek, Yukta, Yuvraj. Okay.
Present,
All
ma'am.
of you, please, please be careful because we have some guidelines and instructions from the management that while we take attendance, the camera of the student should on and he should say the attendance, he or she, and then we download the attendance also. So please make sure.
Present,
I
ma'am.
don't want. Yes, I heard that. Okay, students. So on we have a class on Monday then, and again some new topic on the viruses. Just go through these things. I'll within tomorrow I'll upload the study material in the LMS also. Few PDFs and maybe some papers and some presentations also. Just try to go through the LMS tomorrow. So by tomorrow I will be updating the LMS also. So you'll be getting more material to read, right? And one student asked me for a book. Yes, we have some e-books, but they are too big to be shared. I don't know. I'll see if Google Drive I can share those books. I'll try to do that, right? We have a one book for a plant viruses and then 2-3 books, Wong's viral. Okay, thank you so much, students, and I'll see you on Monday then, right? Thanks.
Thank you.